So, you deleted social media or restricted it? Great. Welcome to the rebellion. Glad you're with us. Now that you're here, the question is, now what? Because once you've put your phone aside, you might feel bored and you have this itch to get your phone again because there's nothing to do. And then you'll be back to COVID times where scrolling was okay because that's the only thing all right to do. And we overstimulate our brains. But that's the whole reason of us feeling this itch to be entertained. The point of this unoptimizing is to help us feel bored again and truly let our imaginations wander, rather than artificially boosted by social media. That won't be your original imagination. In fact, studies even showed that you have to be bored to go somewhere. This is something no one really talked about when they said they have quit social media, that we'd feel the boredom and we're supposed to embrace it. Otherwise, we'd feel restless and the urge to return to the phone would come back. Then the cycle will return. And then what's the point anymore? But the point is to embrace the boredom. And later on, you'll get used to it and start realizing the people around you and even the world. And perhaps you don't really need that cold shower every single morning or wake up super early as advised by many gurus. But to understand why we need to be bored, we need to go back to the main reason, and I'm guessing you may have a similar situation to mine. When we first avoided social media, our goal was to stop feeling anxious about everything, control our emotions, the doom scrolling and brain rot, and ultimately to break the habit of checking social media every so often, so we could get our priorities straight, rewire our brains, and think about what we truly want without the pressure from society that's been loudly speaking on social media. Now, the problem is that opening social media has been a habit since smartphones were a thing. I bet half of Gen Z like me find that opening social media is like a mandatory thing now and a second habit. If you miss the news, it's equivalent to being old, missing everything. Posting something is also fun to some extent, and this encouraged us more to open them and see what's going on so that we won't feel left behind on whatever news is out there, or putting ourselves out there too. So putting the phone down may take quite a while, and our goal now is to break that habit and optimize our brains. For my experience, social media was a little easier to get away from for some time because I was already at peak anxiety. It's ridiculous, and every time I opened the app, I would be on guard and alert, preparing myself for whatever images or videos would make me nervous, anxious, make me feel like I'm a loser, and made me feel guilty for wasting my time. We've industrialized nothingness. That's why when I felt like my brain and soul can't handle the algo contents any longer, I had to create some boundaries since tech companies won't care about what I see and they won't filter the garbage even though I've already filtered mine. And because of that, it came to a point where I stopped caring about news. I don't know what is out there, what's hot, and I don't care. I only know the general stuff like the war that is still going on because the USD price has increased where I am. But other than that, I don't know what else is happening. I bet it's terrible, but I'll let other people tell me what's going on. I usually check my news on Twitter, but I'm not too addicted there since I only do a quick scroll and mostly see general news. And now that I've somewhat eliminated social media from my daily to-do list, I have been able to focus better on other things. At first, I didn't really know what to do with my spare time. It was once doom scrolling to exhaustion, but when that's out of the way, that feeling of what now lingers so much. And as I was letting my mind wander as I lay on my back staring at the ceiling, just wondering and wondering, but it's a good type of wonder instead of artificial ones, it gave me some thoughts on what I really want to do and all the things I wanted to enjoy on my spare time. That's when I began to explore my passion. I was able to go read and write again to relax, and I was enjoying the process. I read 4 to 5 books in the past couple of months. Can you believe that? In this fast-paced world where I feel like I need to catch up with a lot of things, reading has helped me to slow down. Also, I was able to do something that I never thought I'd do as an introvert, which is call a friend to hang out with, which is strange to me because on weekends, or rather after work, all I think about is going home. But since social media is off the picture, I'd call friends to ask when they can hang out, if I can join their running group, and say yes to invites like doing sports. I feel like I was given back the time that I wasted, and my quote-unquote status increased. Another thing that I find that has changed in me is that I love watching long-form contents more than short-form contents now. Like, I can be in shorts or reels for a while and then know when to stop so I don't doom scroll myself to death, which is why I've been spending more time on YouTube and mostly listening to things that I can learn in depth instead of surface level. It's almost like listening to a friend who has genuine advice for us. And since exercising this new habit, I felt like I got my brain back, especially in this AI era where people think that they're losing their minds or the brain capacities are declining since everything comes to us instantly. But the point is, today I feel so much better than I was last year. My brain is less optimized, I can think more clearly and grasp my thoughts, and I'm also not overloaded with information that I don't need to know. I was able to focus, my attention span has come back, and most importantly, I wasn't as anxious as I was back then. I like to call this my 2000s era, where we're doing what people in the 90s and early 2000s did before Blackberries and Apple were just fruits, and improving on our terms. No artificial boost to influence our decisions to grow, and I'm going to share what I did after reducing my time on social media and ultimately the phone, aside from work, of course. Keep in mind that I'm also still doing an optimization because I just developed the foundation and I'm in a state where I'm learning to keep the habit of staying away from the phone in the long term by doing anything else but tapping on the social media app. And I want to make this my long-term habit. So these are the things I've been doing since I reduced phone usage. And mostly you can do this in your spare time, and I hope this could help you as well. So the first thing I did after putting down the phone was journaling to know thyself. I've been journaling since I was in high school. I remember feeling overwhelmed with changes I don't quite understand, and my feelings would spiral. To help manage my feelings, I would write nearly every day, telling how I felt and articulating my emotions, whether it was being upset or overwhelmed. I made sure I wrote every single thing. It helped me write down my desire, what I hate to, and also plan out what I really want to do in my life. To this day, I still keep the habit of journaling, writing down what I feel too, and I'm glad it has become my hobby and habit. And in part, it has also helped me in my job, such as writing articles, because I kept that habit, including writing scripts here. So journaling does help articulate and structure whatever messy thoughts are in our heads after being optimized for such a long time and let our imagination run wild. And once you have managed to pick a few things about yourself, the next step is to get out of the house and meet up with someone. Which leads to my next point, call a friend. As I mentioned before, after rediscovering my passion, I was and am an introvert. I like to stay at home, do nothing, read and write, play games, and I'll feel great. But that too, I feel like it has to change because I got stuck in my own head. No matter how introverted we think we are, we need to socialize and we need genuine connections and not to be isolated. That's why nowadays I set myself a goal to speak or hang out with someone after work or on weekends. Be it my parents or cousins, I need to speak with someone willing to have an hour conversation with me. And if they're willing, drama dump. For me, this has helped me to kind of find myself a little more from the perspective of others. The people close to me were able to see what made me happy or sad, and they gave me their honest opinion about me. Of course, they would also tell me what's bothering them, and I'll listen to what they were feeling. And that's where our friendship got closer. After all those feedback sessions, we talked about other things that excite us or about life in general. And here's what I found out when I talked to people. Slowly, you'll forget the miseries you think you were in, and the conversations you have with your friends will pull you back to the present, enough for you to forget what you were anxious about in the first place. Plus, when you talk to people, I bet they will also say the position you are in now, unless you can't afford food on your table and no roof above your head, is not as bad as you think it is. Now, once you finish your social battery, take a walk by yourself to have some thoughts by yourself. I feel like this is the most underrated habit that we ignore now. Walking has many benefits, such as increasing blood flow in your body, releasing endorphins to make you feel fresh, reducing stress, improving your sleep quality, and best of all, walking in nature, where you can touch grass, is a healing therapy for you, and it's free. This is another way to rewire your brain after being optimized for so long. You're back to nature, and they can bring you back to the present instead of being stuck in your head for so long. A peaceful therapy and a soul-searching experience. And speaking of soul-searching, go back to God. And I'm not saying this just as a Catholic. I live in a country where it's dominated by Muslim people. They have their way of faith, but for me, the Bible is the best book for unoptimizing. So whatever your religion is, whatever you believe in, go for it. But for me, as I said, it is the Bible and has many passages about rewiring our brains to be closer to God and learning who we are as people before we were influenced by different things. Crazy thing is, this book was created thousands of years ago, and yet the passages were able to address modern problems. This also explains why there's so many news saying that Gen Zs are returning to religion. Some call it the quiet revival, because Gen Z realized that whatever worked for millennials and boomers in the past won't work for them now. Like, no matter how hard they try, the result may not be just as it was before. The economy is different, the environment too, even work. They've done their best, and now all we have to do is let go, let God. There's no other explanation after that. And lastly, go back to what you love, which is hobbies. Aside from helping you refresh your optimized brain, it's also another way to see what you like to do and what you don't like to do. For me, when I stopped my scrolling habit, I looked for stuff to do to fill my spare time and doing stuff that I like that helps me relax. Most of them include reading and writing, which is why I've been writing this script too, playing games. Not only am I doing this as a hobby, but I also as a job, including my main job. And I'm enjoying it so far. Anyways, that's my way to fill in when I reduce my habit of scrolling. It stopped becoming a hobby when I switched out, embraced boredom, and let my imagination run wild. So now I have my brain back. There's still traces of algos there, but not as much as before. The boredom helped me find my hobbies again and what I like, and I spend more time on YouTube, mostly on ambience, and see what YouTubers uploaded, but not the shorts since I disabled that section. But overall, I felt less anxious. I don't waste my time. I'm not doom scrolling as often as I used to. I can concentrate on what I need to prioritize and keep my mental health in check. I hope this video helps. Let me know if you found another way to unoptimize. But for me, this is what I do. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.